Why do you think drivers end up quitting? Like I know a lot of drivers have been quitting recently.
Uh, I think it depends on the driver themselves. I'd say one, I think the money to bring that kind of point back home. I think the money. I think the second thing that is becoming more and more apparent now, I think is also the logistics around driving, and I'm going to say the legal aspects, and I think the accounting aspects. So when it comes to legal aspects, I want to stress I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I am a former accountant, but this is not meant to be accounting advice either. But when it comes to legal aspects, I mean, the independent contractor versus employee debate's a big one. Like I said before, some drivers you now may need to have like a, I think it's called like a TNC verification in, I believe it's New York. So each city and state has its own rules. Some of them are more strict than others. That's kind of a big issue. Also, rideshare insurance is a big thing. I highly suggest getting rideshare insurance. There are stories of people getting into an accident when driving. They tell their insurance didn't know they were driving, and their insurance says, hey, we're not going to cover you. And unfortunately, for a lot of insurances, they're going to try to do whatever they can to not cover you. And it's debatable if they're right or wrong in that regard, but that is another big factor. And then, of course, when it comes to the tax accounting, a lot of drivers are kind of not used to being an independent contractor, where for most situations, you give money at the end of the tax season as opposed to getting that money back because you're not taxed on your earnings or you're not getting those taxes taken out when you get your paycheck. So I think there's a lot of things around it that at first it seems great, like I drive, flexible schedule, instant cash outs. I think are a very underrated part of Lyft and Uber. That's awesome. Like say I made $100 in a day. I hit a button, boom, it's in my bank account. There's a lot of benefits, but there are a lot of like logistical cons and negative aspects as well. And I think that when you pair that with the money, a lot of drivers are saying, wow, with all this kind of negative stuff involved, why risk it from you making peanuts or, such little money when it comes to driving?
Yeah, cause I know like Uber and Lyft take a pretty big percentage, and
Yeah,
then also like spending money on like gas, maintenance for your car, stuff like that.
it adds up. I mean, I know people, I mean, this is like a whole other arena, but I know people who rent a car and they have their own car just because of, those matters like depreciation, like the value of your car is insane. I bought a new car few years ago. And I remember one of the first things they asked me when I was trading in my other vehicle, because I was doing like a swap at a dealership. One of the first questions they asked me was, has this car ever been used for Uber and Lyft? If so, we're going to give you less money for it. Because we assume there's been more wear and tear. The car's maybe gone through a lot. Whether that's true or not, obviously, like I feel like driving the city is the same, whether it's the Uber Lyft or another, or
Yeah.
not for Uber and Lyft. But yeah, that's a big thing. Dealerships are now asking. Like the depreciation is a huge factor.
Hmm. That's interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But I know
Yeah, weird.
insurance companies are doing that now too, so I think I mean it's tough to say, but I think in the beginning, Lyft and Uber was so new, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, we don't know what to think of this." So it kind of like went under the radar when it comes to insurance, trading in your car, all those kind of things. But now that it's so mainstream, there's more like in both good and bad ways, more like focus on it as just something a lot of people do.